This is your boy, Lord Thadeus Gray. This one is going to be something that I have not done before that I know of. I've done things, definitely, my theories about the supernatural, my encounters with the supernatural, which you guys already know is quite a bit for anyone, really. Things I never really asked for. But this is not going to be along those things. This is going to be something that a friend kind of taught me about a little bit. She's most likely deceased now, so I won't be mentioning names about her respect, but, like I said, she enlightened me on a few things. And this is going to be about the Fae Folk, Faeries. Excuse me. Now, what are fairies? Well, people think of Fae Folk many times as cute little things like Tinkerbell. And that, my friend, is far from the truth. You're talking about a pantheon of entities that have tremendous, tremendous power. You're talking about old world creatures that are beyond, a lot older than Christianity. Leave it at that. Possibly even older than any Judeo Christian religion at all. Just going to leave that out there. These things are old. The belief behind them is old. Even before, the ancient Gaelic or Celtic beliefs or the Picts or anything. You're talking about old stuff. So naturally, when it comes to anything like that, that has such a powerful faith or old faith behind it, you're talking about something. The variety of these beings is beyond comprehension, what they can do. You're talking about literal, beings that were worshipped as gods and goddesses, things like that, man. Of course, Fae Folk have all kinds of varieties, and just things are descended from them, things are related to them, connected, not just elementals. We're talking about trolls, ogres, elves, dwarves. Of course, there's different variations of these things, of course. They're not necessarily named that, but you're talking about just a massive amount of their pantheon, both good and pretty frighteningly evil, if you know what I'm saying. I'm just leaving that out there. Think about this. You're talking about creatures supposedly so powerful they can open rifts in the fabric of reality itself and pull people into these realities. You hear about the missing 401. I wouldn't be surprised if Fae Folk were behind a lot of that. I'm talking about with, I forgot the guy who did the 401 series. David Polides or something like that. Don't, please forgive me if I'm getting my names wrong there, but, the stuff that guy has put together and stuff, I think a lot of that has to do with, not all of it, probably not even the majority of it, but I'm telling you right now, I'm pretty sure a lot of it is much more these guys than anything with Bigfoot or Dogman. Leave it at that. I'm just going to leave that out there. These beings are to be respected, and again, I believe to be left alone. Like I said, I've talked to more than one person who claims to have had dealings with these creatures, and that in itself is something, from what I've heard and what they've told me, no thank you. You want to mess with that, you go right ahead. I don't. I'm not sure if they're demonic. They are in the fact they're interdimensional. But what I mean by demonic is I'm talking about fallen. I don't know if they're connected to the giants or the things that, just soon have us on a dinner plate or not. But I do know that these creatures are definitely much more than they appear. And I'm pretty sure what you see is definitely not what you get. Think about it. These beings are masters of deception. They're masters of chaos and order in some ways. I'm just saying, but what I do know is they delight in meddling in human affairs and just causing all kinds of problems. My friend also told me because, of course, with the advent of Christianity and a lot of the faith that was put in these creatures that fueled their power, of course, they've grown weak. And do I think that's a bad thing? Hell to the no. I think that's a good thing. I'm sorry, that's just what I'm not trying to sound biased against these creatures, but I've just heard so much bad. It's hard to really say much good about them. I've heard of stories, where mortals fell in love with these things, and of course, did it end well for said mortal? Not really. Just, bear with me, I'm trying to think. The legend of Cuchulainn is a good one. That's a good example. Just leave it at that. I believe it was the Morgan that he caught her eye, and I think he turned her away. And yeah, hell else no fear like a woman scorned. Well, how about a supernatural entity scorned? Think on that. I don't think she's necessarily part of the Fae Folk, but there's a connection there. I know that. I could be wrong. I'm not really good on my Celtic myths or anything like that, so I'm just going to leave this out there. You're talking about some very serious power there. And Cuchulainn ended up with a very... I'm not going to say he died badly. He definitely died a hero, if I remember right, but at the same time, he died very young. So you got to think on these things, man. And of course, you have old legends of people who are half these creatures, and of course, again, you're talking about demigods. Beings of, what does the Bible talk about? Beings of great renown. So like I said, I'm not sure they're fallen or not, but I do know they're old. Like I said, I'm not trying to repeat myself, but it's just, I'm trying to really get that home with you guys. You're talking about beings of old world abilities here, and connections. Connections of these creatures have shaped history. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're talking about not just myths, but history itself, I firmly believe. I'm just saying, you cannot really underestimate what these things can do, especially after the faith that was put in them, or behind, into their existence that fueled them for so long. I mean, think about it. Human sacrifice, I know for a fact, was involved with some of these creatures, too. So, I mean, you're dealing with something that is best left alone, but also fascinating in its own right. Make no mistake. I've been thinking about doing this one for a while, but like I said, I think that they're not just fascinating, they're dangerous. Yet at the same time, with anything, as long as you leave it alone, most likely it'll leave you alone. Be careful when going out in those woods, because you don't really know what you're necessarily going into. I believe these creatures are not just located in, the parts of Scotland and Ireland. I think these creatures are, a couple of DW stories actually involve something similar, and this was here in the States. So you really have to take into consideration, I believe these creatures are connected to the faith that we have in them, and of course, naturally, if they're beings that are partially of the spirit, location ain't going to matter too much. Where they're believed in, they're going to be at. Something to take into consideration. That is really all I want to put on this one, because my knowledge is not very great on them. I know a little bit, but not a lot. Like I said, and to say any more would be foolish. But I figured this would be a fascinating topic to bring up and to put out there. You guys know what I do. I'm the producer for Dark Waters Entertainment. And my email is westvic It is westvic at iamdarkwaters.com. And you already know, if you've had a cryptid experience or a supernatural one, hit me up and I'll make sure you have the chance to tell your story or have it told. You guys be blessed and you be safe.